Welcome to another episode of Cruising with Clemons. My name's Mark, and this week we are going to an RV rally called Xscapers BASH 2024. Let's go check it out.
All right, so as Mark mentioned in this episode, we're going to take you along to our first RV club rally, which is with Xscapers. And we chose to go to their biggest event of the year, which is BASH, located in Lake Havasu, Arizona.
Yep.
But before we even get there, oh, there's a hummingbird.
Oh, look, it's a Costa too. All right, where were we?
Seriously, one of the best forms of entertainment is having that bird feeder there. Anyway,
Oh, yes.
all right, so we're going to bring you along on this journey through the week of events at BASH. But before we get started, we're going to recap what happened, well, really the day before back in Tucson.
The easiest way to recap is that everything went wrong. Check out our last video to check that out. But our electric and solar were not installed for the week of boondocking at BASH.
Which we were going to boondock for 8 days. So we were kind of hoping to have all this ready to go, and it didn't happen. So spirit-wise, you were feeling kind of...
Really down. Really down.
I was feeling anxious because I wasn't sure that we were going to make it all week.
Long drive and all that crap the day before and the stuff I had to do that morning just had me feeling like, how am I going to go to this RV event and have a bunch of fun with a bunch of people?
Yeah. And I think for us, because we have never really done anything like this before, there was just an all over anxiousness about like, what is this going to be like? That's kind of how we started our trip.
But we met some people along the way on the
Yeah.
drive that were really cool, and they were also going to BASH. So that was pretty neat to just meet people at the gas station like, hey, you have an RV. Are you going to BASH? And they're like, yes, we are. So
Yes. All right. So now we've got to stop and get some water, and I found this really cool place. So let's check that out. All right. We just stopped here at Boondockers RV spot to fill up with water, propane, and they've also got RV dump. So we're hitting this right before we hit the BASH.
Boondockers RV station was really cool, and I would recommend it. We'll probably use it again next year when we go to BASH.
Yeah, I thought the prices were really reasonable. I mean, we're talking about wintering out that way. I would totally go buy them again and fill up. Super nice people. Yeah.
They had the hose, the filter, the sewer hoses. They had everything already set up for you and ready to go, so you didn't have to get anything out and
Yeah.
set up yourself.
I think they were even selling wood. So literally almost everything that you can think of. Ice.
Yeah.
You could fill bottled water if you wanted, in addition to filling your tanks. So we followed the directions. We're heading into the rodeo grounds at Lake Havasu, and I wish that we had filmed, like you're seeing a little bit of it, but I wish we had filmed like the full entry into the campground, because it was like
Everybody's so excited and just jumping up and down.
like
and,
very, very welcoming.
yeah.
So then you guys can see that as we're pulling in, BASH is broken into different sections. There is a solar section, which is what you're seeing. And people have massive solar setups there. Like, I've never seen solar setups so big. And then you have the party section. I bet you can guess what those people do. They like to stay up and party at night.
There was also the solo section down there.
So those are people who are traveling solo by themselves. Then there's the general section, and then there is a family section. And this year, I think what I saw the final numbers, they had over 40 families there, over 100 kids. So that was one of the reasons for us as a full-time family that we wanted to go, because we were looking for other people who have kids like us, who are on the road, because we've met people, they just all have like gotten off the road and bought houses. Like I said, we were kind of late in the day, and you'll see we kind of lucked out with our spot. This awesome spot was right up against the wall where we would have stunning sunsets all week and kind of overlook the entire event.
We've made it to the Xscapers Bash, and the kids are freaking out because it's time to go. Stuff has already started and it's time to go. All right, so we are in the family section. The family section happens to be the farthest away from everything, so we got a little walk. But we're gonna go check out what is going on at Bash.
So we actually got back around 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
And we were sitting out relaxing, and then a little intrusive thought popped into my head about the battery that we had done all the work with a couple days before. And I said, let me just check to see if the battery is charging.
Because at this point, he's got the generator going, because at Bash, as long as you're not in the solar section, they're pretty generous with their generator time allotments. You could run from 8 a.m. till 11 p.m. each night.
Yeah, so it was around 10:30-ish, and I look at the battery indicator, and it's showing negative amps while the generator's on. So that means it is not charging. So I broke out the multimeter and I start testing everything, and everything seems fine. So then I came inside, and it turned out that I had hooked up the charger backwards. So the positive was on negative and negative was on positive, which blew all the fuses. Mm-hmm. So we were down to about 15 minutes left before we had to shut off the generator, and the battery had not been charged now for a day and a half, and it had never been charged since it was shipped to us, and they usually ship them around 50% capacity. So I'm thinking we're not going to have a fridge overnight.
Well, and it was freezing cold too.
Yeah, we're in our kitchen, and I'm like rewiring this thing, pulling fuses out, and with like 15 minutes to spare, we were able to pump 15 minutes of generator power into the battery. Still had no idea how much battery we had or if we would make it through the night, but our fridge and our furnace had to go overnight, and that's what we were concerned with.
We kept the water pump off, so if anybody had to go to the bathroom, they would have to flip on the water pump real quick to use it and wash their hands and then flip it back off, because we were trying to conserve electricity. Another
like end of a crazy long day and I'm doing more electrical work.
But we had some time before like activities kind of started on Sundays, so we put up one of our Christmas gifts from Grammy. Mark and the kids installed our new awning screen,
which went surprisingly well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we thought we definitely would need it because we were in the desert and we're out in the middle of like a dirt parking lot essentially. So we thought some extra shade, especially for Mark when he's working. After that, there were a couple of different like talks and stuff that were going on, and the big thing was that they had a huge slide for all ages, so adults and kids, although I think primarily it was kids that used it, probably.
Yeah, I didn't see too many adults.
Yeah. But it was definitely one of the highlights for the kids, and it's probably where they started meeting a lot of other kids that were around us. So Sunday night was everybody get together and decorate, and kind of how that went was everybody just brought a little something, whatever they might have to decorate, and then a couple fire pits, and they kind of sat out and hung out and chit-chatted with people so that you get opportunities to meet other families.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, and that was our Sunday night. Good morning, everybody. It is Monday at Bash, and the kids and I are heading to the first day of kids camp. I volunteered to help. It's gorgeous out. It's probably in the 40s or 50s this morning. It's going up to like 65. It feels great. It's gorgeous out. There's hot air balloons rising. Oh, look, there's deer. It's gonna be a good day. You know, Monday was kind of like meeting everybody and playing some games and kind of stuff like that. There was this giant dirt hill where all the kids would play, and so it was fun. But the big event on Monday was the zombie lot crawl.
Yeah. Yeah, so we decorated the camper with some zombie gear.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had to make, each section had to make, what was ours?
Ours was like dips.
Yeah, it was like dips and something, I forget.
It might have dips and drinks. Probably, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway.
Everybody had drinks.
So we made...
I made queso.
Yeah. We did chips and queso, basically.
We did chips and queso.
But the idea is that each section's supposed to be about 30 minutes, and that's not enough to go through. That's less than a minute per camper in our area.
Yeah.
But the idea is when you're done with what you had, then you get to crawl through the lot and go down to the next lot or whatever. So
it's super fun. Some people you'll see got like really dressed up and like very into it. Some people's campers were really like decked out. Some people, I mean, people had food and drinks. There was lots of drinks.
Lots of drinks. You got to pace yourself.
We just did our first lot crawl.
Mm-hmm.
We finished ours, like our stuff like went quickly, even though we had a bunch. So then we're down here in the general section, which is the section next to us. We didn't even make it through all the way through.
No.
We're done.
Donezo. We're going back.
I think we are going to have to train for this event next year.
Yeah, it's like running a marathon, but eating and drinking alcohol.
It's Monday. We got here on Saturday. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, I worked all day.
Yeah. We've been up late every night for various reasons. So,
all right, let's go home.
Yeah. The big event Tuesday night is
the margarita night.
Margarita night.
So people made their own versions of margaritas. There's a bunch of different categories.
Like classic or the non-margarita or a margarita with like a twist kind of situation.
They set it up in what they called the blue room, which is like a big blue warehouse. And there was like 30 plus margaritas.
There was a lot of margaritas.
we tried all of them.
Easily we tried all of them. Kind of the fun part of it, like not only do you get to like, you know, taste all this like stuff, but then you like vote on it and stuff, and it's fun and it's interesting. Some people came up with some really cool variations of stuff. And some people like just went, you know, plain classic. Mark had to sign a waiver for one of the margaritas because it was spicy and it had some kind of pepper in it.
Yeah, I forget what kind of pepper
but
it was.
He had to sign a waiver for it.
Yeah, super hot margarita. But I think I got less inebriated at that event than I did at the zombie crawl.
I still feel like we drank a lot though.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, I felt like it was more classy as margaritas.
So it is now Wednesday at Bash. I know I told you that we were exhausted, but like we were exhausted. Then there's the big activity for the night, which Wednesday was like Wig Out Wednesday.
Wig Out Wednesday.
Yeah, so we all wore wigs. And then on top of that, it was Macaroni Madness. And just like the margarita competition, this is a macaroni competition. And so again, different categories with your classic macaroni and cheese. You had your gluten-free, like vegetarian category. There was like a meat macaroni and cheese.
Didn't some kid make like a peanut butter and jelly mac and cheese or something?
Yeah, so one of the teenagers made peanut butter and jelly macaroni and cheese. But I salute him for like being creative and submitting something. So anyway, again, it's held in the big building. Everybody came. You brought a big tray of macaroni and cheese. Mark's not a big fan of that, so he didn't participate, but Kennedy and Cooper and I did. And
somebody had some brisket on one. That was pretty good.
I did. I actually think that they won the brisket macaroni and cheese for the meat like division won. It was really good. And then I think there was some kind of entertainment that night. Was that the night?
I think there's entertainment every night.
Yeah, I think that might have been the Wacky Chad night.
It was Wacky Chad night.
It was Wacky Chad night. So Wacky Chad came to see the kids, and then he did a show later for all of the rest of the camp. So that was fun.
The hummingbird's back.
Yeah.
Thursday was the Olympics.
Yeah. So. I don't know that like we had a good grasp on what was going to happen at the Olympics. We came down and we watched some of it. You know, we were busy like I was busy with kids club and you were working and stuff like that. And And then the kids got to go play on some of the equipment before the actual Olympics started. So I was down there with them. But we came down to watch like the tail end of it, and it was like silly stuff.
Yeah,
like,
completely silly.
You know, like walk with a balloon, like a relay race with the balloon between your knees kind of situation.
Yeah,
kind of
you didn't
stuff.
have to be athletic for this Olympics.
Not at all.
It was just a silly fun.
Yeah, I know what happened after the Olympics.
Okay.
It was the Rave Rover.
The Rave Rover's on its way in! Get your cameras
As you can see, we had a great time dancing to the Rave Rover. Okay, Friday. Along with all the other stuff, kids camp finished up.
Yeah.
So I helped them like break down stuff, and the kids had a great time. They met a lot of people. I felt like a really, the way that the camp, or not the camp, but the way that the whole event is set up and where all the families are, it gave like a really good place for the kids to like freely go play.
Yeah.
And you didn't have to like worry about them because it was just all of us families up there. We were, you know, everybody was like kind of sitting out in different areas.
Low traffic area.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of cars, things like that going on. So I think it was like a really good experience, you know, from that standpoint for the week. They had a great time at kids camp. They even did some service projects. So it was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, we went to Lake Havasu, like into town.
Yeah, because we had some free time on Saturday.
And we saw the
London Bridge. And then we checked out the cute little like British area down by the bridge. Robert McCulloch purchased the bridge from the City of London in 1968 as a way to attract new home buyers and retirees for his planned community in Lake Havasu City. However, during deconstruction of the bridge, he decided to only ship back the exterior parts of the bridge to the United States. The bridge was completed and rededicated in 1971. You can find 28 lighthouses located along the shores of Lake Havasu.
Saturday night is the neon night.
One of the best ways to get ready for neon night at Bash is to get your face painted. Kennedy had the best time.
Oh my gosh, it's so pretty.
I decided to get mine done too. On our last night, they provided a catered meal before the festivities began.
Welcome back, the light rides! Woo! I guess it would be nice if I could touch your body.
And the last party of the rally was the Neon Rave. Everyone hung out to dance and have a good time with new and old friends. Morning, everybody. It is the last day of Bash. It's moving day, actually. It's been 8 days of boondocking, dry camping, whatever you want to call. Our tanks are a little full, so yeah, I'm leaving the sink like that until we get to our next place. It's raining out. It's been an amazing week. We had a great time. Am I ready for some full hookups? Sure am. And a full shower, things like that. Yes.
So knowing all of that, I think we would definitely do it again, right?
I already marked it on our calendar for next year.
Yeah. So I'd say we did about 80% of the events and things that there were to do that week. So we kind of crammed a lot of it in. But you can do as little or as much as you want. I mean, I thought we would maybe meet a bunch more people, but like the reality is like you can't meet 700 people, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Well, and I think the other thing is I had read this before, but people were like, oh, my first year I went, I worked during the day, and then they were like, and I learned, and I took a couple days off the next year. And I think that you probably feel that way.
I'll take at least a day or two off next year.
And I was at kids camp like the entire week, which I'm glad I got to do, and I had fun with it. But even I would like to like take a day or two off here, because there were some seminars that I wish I could have attended and I didn't get a chance to. But I'm thankful that like they had the camp, the kids met so many people. I think it was definitely well worth it for our first like kind of big RV club rally. You couldn't have picked a better event. It is very well run. It is pretty well organized. They have an app, which I thought was really great. I've never seen like just a single event have an app that goes with it. It has some kinks in it, I think, that need to be worked out. But overall, though, it was great. Like if you met
better
somebody,
than not having the app.
If you met somebody, you could search for them in the app and find them and message them on that. If you forgot to get their contact information. They have opportunities where you could sell some of your stuff. So we sold our 2
paddle boards.
Our 2 paddle boards. There was all kinds of like that kind of extra stuff.
And then they also had community events on there. So like just people coming up with their own events, like movie night, or
there was like a jam session and people would get together with their musical instruments and like play. There was a cereal club. They all came together and brought all kinds of cereal and milk and sat around and had cereal and milk.
There was a family that was doing like 50 pies, I think is their website. Anyway, they want to do 50 pies in 50 states, pizza pies.
They have like those uni ovens, the uni pizza oven.
So he was just making free pizza for whoever came by.
He did that one day.
He made way more than 50.
It was great, and he made pie. On top
he
of it.
did actually also.
Because I got a pecan pie, so
yeah.
So I mean, there was just really cool things like that. The kids did some service projects through kids camp. It was really fun. If that's the kind of stuff you're looking for, if you're still new or you've been doing it for a while and you're still trying to find your tribe, I highly recommend going to one of these events. So they have events like this. They do like a Friendsgiving one. They have a couple other events throughout the year. So, you know, if you're on the West Coast, because it will be in Lake Havasu again in January, if you're out here, make time to come. It was well worth it.
And then in a few weeks, we'll have an episode about the RV Families Rally, and we'll be able to kind of compare and contrast. So be sure to look out for that video.
All right. Well, we appreciate you watching us, and welcome to all you new people, and hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions about BASH from a first-timer's perspective, let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, we hope that you'll give us a thumbs up and maybe hit the subscribe button and keep watching us.
Thanks for watching.